Hi, so today I am joined by Rachel Hayden, and Rachel is a Pilates teacher, fitness instructor, and also Rachel is now a qualified Pilates tutor and assessor as well. So, welcome, Rachel. Hello.
No.
It's great to have you. So we want to have a little conversation today, don't we, about Pilates in general, and I want to talk a little bit about your journey. So Rachel actually works with me in the GlobeFit Academy. Rachel is going to be leading the tutoring and the assessing on our level three YMCA MAP Pilates course, our qualification, which we have newly launched. But before we talk a little bit about the qualification, I just want to talk to Rachel because I've known Rachel for, oh my gosh, I don't know how long now. Must be about 6, 7 years maybe. You were actually my PT for a little while, weren't you? During I think it was during COVID and like when doing outdoors, I remember like you were like everything was like
The
social
car park.
in the car park, yeah. And we got chatting and just yeah, everything that you do like always resonated with me. Like you've helped me achieve some of my fitness goals. And yeah, anyway, let's talk about your journey into fitness. How did you initially become a fitness instructor?
So I was at university. I studied sports science, and then I went on to study a master's in clinical exercise science. And within it, we did our personal training qualifications. And originally, I thought, oh, I'm going to go work in hospital, do really clinical stuff. I did work experience, hated it. Did work experience in the gym floor and absolutely loved it. So finished my qualifications, and then I got a job at Everyone Active and became a personal trainer. And then was really lucky because it was a big company, so they put you through a lot of qualifications. So then I started teaching classes, gym four classes. That would have been about 10 years now ago. And it just kind of progressed from there.
Wow, yeah, yeah, 10 years in the industry is quite a while.
Mm.
So you initially started off as a PT, and I know that you've been teaching more of like the high impact stuff like recently, but you're starting to now pivot. Well, you have a little while ago, quite a while ago now, you qualified, didn't you, as a Pilates instructor? And what is it about Pilates that kind of captured your like I suppose the passion that you have for it? When did that happen? When did that conversion happen from going from the more like high impact stuff that you're doing, the PTing, to the more holistic side of things?
I think you can make more of an impact. So I did high impact. It was great. Was teaching about 20 classes a week. However, the music is pounding, the choreography is you like resent, you just keep going and you don't actually build those bonds or make the impacts with your clients. Whereas Pilates, because it's a lot slower, you've got smaller groups, you're able to kind of like help people in bigger ways than like past fitness. So they'll come in and they can go, I can now do this in my normal life. And I think the reward that you get back from that is amazing. And then obviously I went on and did my reformer, which is then smaller groups. So we've got six in a room. So the impact you can make with just six people is amazing.
Hmm. And at the moment, obviously, Pilates is massive, especially reformer. There's studios popping up everywhere. I know like you teach a lot of reformer on a weekly basis at various studios within Hampshire. Why do you think Pilates and the reformer, why do you think it's taken off? Like, because it's been around for ages, hasn't it? But why do you think suddenly now everyone's kind of wanting to do it?
I think we're kind of now into a period where people are putting like their wellness first. And I think what's been really lovely is one of the studios that I work at, we get a lot of people who are supplementing like their running, their training, their gym. And they're realizing all the hours in the gym are amazing, but they're not gaining the stability and the strength or just like the stretching and gaining the flexibility that Pilates gives you. They have almost a cut off on where they can push.
Mm.
And even we've seen more males coming through, which again I think is amazing. The girl who runs our studio works with the Saints football team. So I think even in big sporting environments, it's being used. And I also think the push of that on social media, I think, is giving people kind of the knowledge that you're not just lying on the floor and practicing your breathing. There's so much more that comes with it.
Yeah.
Um, so it's been lovely to see that kind of progression.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I'm like I have to say I'm a fan. Like I do a reformer class weekly and then I do at least two mat Pilates classes weekly and I mix that up with other training and I'm now noticing at 40 that my body feels better now by doing that than it did 10 years ago when I was just doing all the high impact cardio stuff. Like I think, there's obviously a place for that too, but I think it is like the balance and bringing this in. And I think, yeah, like I suppose it's being able to bring more things into your training, isn't it? And I think because it's accessible for everybody, I think it's like, anybody can go to a class, like you say, there's a lot of males doing it, anyone of any age can do it. And I think that's what it is. It's like a audience that, the market is pretty much anybody. Anybody can do it because there's adaptations as everything, for whatever level you're at, everyone can do it, right?
Yeah, and I think that's also like, in a sense, it's taken off from that because I think after even a couple of classes, people are leaving and go, "Oh, my posture is so much better. I feel better." And I think that kind of instant kind of their awareness of their bodies then makes them come back. And I think it's the bit that we all forgot and we would all hammer the high impact. I did the same.
Yeah.
Um, but actually, if you don't supplement it with anything like stretching or you're putting all that stability work and your kind of really deep rooted core work in, you're going to have issues.
Mm, yeah. And where do you sort of see it going, it like over the next, say, sort of 5 years? Do you think this is just a hype right now, or do you think this is like a lasting thing?
I think that it's a lasting thing. I think for some people it'll be a hype, they'll go on, they'll find another fad. But I think for the people who are coming in and it's making a real difference to their quality of life, I don't see them ever stopping it because I think the rewards they're gaining or the people who are coming through that are from the gym background or are competing in certain sports, the recovery aspect of it just makes such a difference that I don't see that being a fad.
Yeah. And have you seen, I just thought I'd mention, like on Instagram and things, you see all these videos, don't you, of everyone, like just got to mention like the reformer stuff, like the wacky stuff that people are doing on Instagram, like in some of these videos. It's like everyone's trying to like outdo each other.
Yeah. And I
Wow.
think you've got studios that are doing that too. So there's studios that are bringing in like the high intensity reformer and you're getting off the beds and you're doing all these like burpees, but you're kind of forgetting the real reason you're there.
Mm.
So I think the dynamic reformer where you're using slow controlled movements that are hard, but people look at them and think, oh, you're not really doing much. But then
Yeah.
you get on a bed and it's humbling.
Mhm.
I think that they won't go anywhere. I think the fads of kind of the hip Pilates, things like that, will kind of fizzle out. But I think the real studios that are doing dynamic reformer and mat Pilates properly, I don't see it going because I think we're in a generation where their health is a lot more important to them than maybe when I was in my 20s.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, like even when I think back sort of 10 years ago, you didn't really have much in terms of yoga studios, then yoga studios became big and now you're seeing like Pilates studios popping up everywhere, reformer, and many other like holistic things. So I think you're right in terms of like people now are really starting to like delve more into self-care and I think especially women, and hopefully men are following like it by the sounds of it they are, especially I've been in a lot of reformer classes and there's lots of men in there. But I think like wellness right now, I think thanks to social media and things like that, where we've kind of been exposed to what there is, and also like the benefits for the mind, isn't it? It's not just the physical body, it's for the mind. And I think that's what people often forget. They sort of look at exercise of a way to like get that physical like appearance, or like, they think it's a physical thing, but like, as well as me, that actually mentally it's everything. It can just pick you up out of a low mood in an instant. It's the best way to just completely like raise your frequency is just to start exercising. And for me, like Pilates is just like it's
Yeah. And I think it's like that whole holistic approach, isn't it? Of not just looking at your physical health, your mental health. Um, And I think that the Pilates is fantastic for that because it gives you a second to kind of almost breathe, and you've got to think so much about what you're doing that everything else in your brain just disappears.
Yeah, and you've kind of got that mindfulness element of it blended in, haven't you? It's obviously not as mindful as yoga, but you've then got that aspect of it in there. So it is, I love the mat Pilates classes where it's like at the end we have the little relaxation part, and that's like it's a really nice time to sort of um just be, you know?
Yeah, and I think you hit an audience that potentially would never go to yoga because it's
Mhm.
too holistic for them. But they'll come to Pilates and they actually realize how much they need it for their mental health.
Mhm. 100%. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And it kind of leads us on a little bit now. Let's talk a little bit about our qualification that we have just newly launched, which is actually, I'll let you introduce the qualification because you are the tutor. You've actually played quite a big role in creating the qualification as well, and getting us up and running. So, yeah, let's talk a little bit about the qualification.
So we will obviously be doing the Pilates qualification. Um, and I think it's giving people that opportunity to turn their passion for what they really, really enjoy into that career and into kind of having some freedom in what they do. Which for me was probably one of the best things I ever did. I love what I do. I would never want to do anything else.
Yeah.
So the course will be blended. We've got online modules, we've got in person, where we'll go through all the moves. We'll give people, especially if you're coming from a background where you've not taught before, you'll be given all those skill sets to learn and gain that confidence going in. And then your in-person exams as well. So there's a lot that is kind of blended learning, but you'll have the support from tutors as well throughout the process.
Yeah. And at the moment, we've just launched, and our in-person days will be in Hampshire in the UK. But obviously, we have plans, don't we, to expand that globally and also online as well. And obviously, what the nice thing about this qualification is that it's, like you said, blended. People can kind of get started straight away with the self-study modules. And obviously, a lot of it is online. So it's kind of quite self-paced in that respect. And I'm doing the qualification, I should say. Yeah, so I mean, it's quite exciting. It's an exciting time, I think, right now for us. And yeah, I mean, what would your advice be to someone who's maybe sort of on the fence a little bit at the moment, considering whether it's the path for them, it's the career path for them, they're not quite sure. Like, what would your
I think it's asking yourself if, like, the job right now you're getting that reward from, because I think a career where you're working with people and you watch their progressions, and you may get someone who's really, really unconfident in our studio and they're new from the beginning, and then you watch them 6 weeks later. It is such a rewarding job. And I think you don't get that many in, like, in, corporate world. You're not going to have that. Also, just the freedom. You're self-employed, you set your hours. You may decide to do it to start with around another job and build up the hours within Pilates, um, or kind of the places it can take you. So I think that element is amazing. If you're already in the industry, I think it's a add-on that we all should do, even if we're just personal training, because I think it gives you that awareness of the body so
yeah,
much more. And there's a lot of things that can be implemented into PT from
yeah,
a Pilates basis that would aid probably 90% of your clients coming through the door.
yeah, yeah. And sort of career progression wise, like you mentioned, community classes, you can work in gyms and things, but and actually, well, I'll let you talk, but what sort of career progressions are there for someone that's doing the qualification?
So you can, obviously, there will always, gyms are always looking. You will always gain them through the gyms. And it's quite a nice way to kind of gain some confidence, build your network, to potentially then move on to community classes, which you're going to earn a lot more money from, because all that money's coming into your pocket. Gyms are going to give you a set rate, and that's all you're going to get. But it's great experience, and you learn a lot from being in them. And then you've also got the element of going one to one. So again, from community classes or gym classes, you can pick up clients, work one to one with them for Pilates. Um, we are hoping to obviously add reformer on. So the hope is that you would do mat Pilates with us, and then you'll go through to do your reformer, which again, the money element, you gain a lot more for reformer because it's very specialised. And you can push again into one-to-ones, you can push into studios. And some people might go on to own their own studios and kind of set their own businesses up.
Yeah. Yeah. And like you also, your progression, you've become now obviously a tutor, an assessor, and now you're training other people. You're not just teaching, you're also training others and qualifying other people to teach. So I suppose the scope is quite big, isn't it? It just depends what you kind of want from it.
Yeah, and I think that's the lovely thing because you are self-employed. You can create your own journey, you can create where you want it to go, and you're in control of those hours, what you want to work, which I think gives you lots of freedom.
Mm.
And there's even opportunities people will go abroad and teach, and they'll travel with it. They'll create retreats. So there are a lot of opportunities to kind of see the world in that aspect too.
Yeah, retreats is massive actually, and that I don't think that's going anywhere anytime soon. That's getting bigger and bigger, and I see, there was like the yoga retreats still are, but obviously now Pilates retreats are big. So yeah, like you said, there's so much scope out there. So yeah. Um, okay, I'm going to ask you something. What is your favorite Pilates move?
Oh, you're testing me now. I love swimming because I think it's so controlled and you're actually using your whole body. Um, and it's a move that people kind of look at it and they think, oh, it's really easy. And then when you actually start to kind of add the elements, add the progressions, build them up to it, um, for your whole body, it's amazing.
Hmm. Yeah, the swimming one. The 100 one is my
I do always put the 100 in. I
killer.
know that it is a great little finisher.
And how many moves are, I suppose there's so many, but in the qualification, how many
So
moves?
there are set 34 moves that they'll need to learn. From those 34, they'll then pick a class that they'll then teach for us. This will obviously be supported. There's got to be certain positions that have got to hit within that. But one of the practical days, your first practical day that you'll have with us, is just learning those 34 moves, learning to teach them, learning to demonstrate them correctly. Especially if you're coming from a background where you may not have done a lot of Pilates or you're new to teaching, that day will be amazing for you because you're going to be around other people who are like-minded. You're all in that kind of safe environment to learn it. There's no stupid questions. And it's learning how to correctly deliver those moves and safely for your classes.
Mm-hmm. Great. Okay. Well, thank you. I think that covers quite a lot of what we wanted to sort of cover in terms of talking about the qualification. And obviously, we've talked about your journey and how you got into fitness. And I suppose actually, what I would, just in case we've got sort of some like young people listening to this, I'm just thinking like my daughter in my head, she's like 17, 18, sort of at college, not really knowing what career path to choose. I suppose like you went down the uni route, didn't you? I mean,
Yeah.
that's not obviously for everybody, but just give us, I don't know, some words of wisdom from Rachel for anyone that's sort of that age where they're sort of not sure quite which way to go, whether in down the uni route or straight into the fitness, into a gym. Like, what would you say?
I think it's so difficult, isn't it? I knew doing my A levels that I loved sport, have always played sport, played netball my whole life and did probably every sport under the sun growing up. Um, I am a little bit of a nerd at heart and I loved the science element of it. So I did a sports science degree. If I'm honest, when I signed on for the degree, I had no idea what I wanted to do in the long term, but I think we were given a lot of guidance and given options throughout our degree. Obviously, decided to go on and do a master's, which halfway through thought, why am I doing this? But it was a very good decision to make. So I think nothing's the wrong thing, but you can also, if you're leaving your GCSEs and I want to be a PT, colleges run such amazing courses. There's apprenticeships out there, and those big companies will develop you. They give you kind of those skills. Um, but I think for me, university was great. I came from a little village. It got me into a town. You grew up a lot because you moved away from your parents. So it's kind of what you want to do, really.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no right or wrong path.
No.
It's just nice to hear your perspective going down the uni route first and then going into the fitness side afterwards. But there, as you say, you could even, if you uni, go later in life if you want to as well, can't you? It's
Yeah.
literally opportunities are endless now.
Yeah. No, I think with open universities or even just courses that will get you to those positions.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, Rachel, thank you for your time. And yeah, it's been really good to talk to you about this and also like find out a bit more like myself, like about no, this has been amazing. So I just want to thank you for your time today.
That's all right.
And
Lovely to come.
if anyone's listening to this and you're thinking, oh, maybe, you want to find out a bit more about qualifying as a Pilates teacher, then you can just get in touch with us. I'm going to put all of that in the show notes. And also, if you want to follow Rachel and her ventures, because actually, I should just mention you're massively into high rocks, aren't you?
Yes, I talk to myself for fun.
If you want to follow Rachel's like fitness ventures, then you share quite a lot over on I think on your Instagram account, don't you? Of your high rocks, your Pilates teacher, like in your general lifestyle. So yeah, I will pop all of that in the show notes so you can go follow Rachel and you can get in touch with us at the GlobeFit Training Academy as well. Okay, thank you.